Move in, move in.
In there. See that? Carry that. Get around the back. Get around the
Mr. Freeman is not at home to visitors.
Who let you in? One of your victims. Come on, let's get you up. I'm taking you home. Where's your charger? Tied up outside.
This is the front door?
Yes.
We can't keep him here. You're gonna have to take him to the dairy, Mr. Moss.
And do what? Paint black patches on him and say he's a cow? Besides, the sergeant calls by every morning when I'm milking.
If he sees us trying to hide it, he'll know it's the wrong and probably think we nicked it in the first place.
But who exactly are we hiding it from? The Tinkers or the police?
The Tinkers and the bloody police.
And A.B. Lee. We can't trust a man who takes the moral overview.
The best place for him is here, with the door locked.
But we've got band practice on Monday night.
We'll move him on Monday night.
Can't we just return him to the wild? The hobby horse has its good points.
The hobby horse has got woodworm. It's got wet rot. It's no better than a child's toy, Frank, and on the 12th we march as men.
Why are you there?
Because I blame myself.
You shouldn't feel guilty. You did try to warn me off him.
I could have tried harder. I could have simply forbidden you from seeing him. I could have even told you the whole truth.
Why didn't you?
Because I was trying to pretend that I didn't care.
You didn't pretend last night. You cared then.
Yes. More than I can ever say.
This was the church where I first sat with Domingo. This is where we laughed and ran outside. This is where we touched each other's hands.
You need to say that, don't you?
I need to say that a terrible thing happened. I need to say that I saw love and a future and children and a life that was my own. And all that came crashing down because the man who I thought would make it all possible just couldn't.
It had to be acknowledged, Iris. You couldn't go on never speaking of it.
No.
Iris, I've made the first inquiries about having your marriage annulled. Word will have to come from Rome. It will take time, but
it can be dissolved. Legally, absolutely, and in the eyes of God. Because the thing that had to happen to make it a marriage never did.
Will I feel better than this?
Yes, you will. And so you can read the whole label to me in French.
Did you go out and get that specially?
No, I telephoned Bunnies.
I never knew you were an HP man.
Madeline won't let me have it in the house. You know, I still remember the first time I tasted it.
Was it in the army when you were a Sandhurst?
No. It was just before my father died. He told me to take him to a particular pub. The Baltic Fleet by Herculaneum Dock.
The Baltic Fleet?
It was ages since he'd been well enough to want to do anything. So I ran and told the chauffeur to get the motor ready. We turned a few heads when we pulled up outside, I can tell you. He was so weak, I practically had to carry him through the door. So then we found a table, and he said to the barmaid, "Bring me the biggest bowl of scouse you've got." And she did. And there was a bottle of HP on the side. And he poured it all over his scouse. And then he ate the way he hadn't eaten in 6 months.
But why? Why the Baltic Fleet? A man like him?
Because when he was a child, he used to stand outside in his bare feet, waiting for his mum to come out of the bar. And he was driven mad by the smell of the scouse that they sold in there.
I never knew.
That my father was a self-made man.
And now you're a gentleman.